The next key speaker is Karsten Shein. He's director of 2 Degrees Celsius. He's a thought leader and nature's knowledge broker, and he translates science and data into information that helps people, businesses, and communities be resilient and sustainable. His mission is to unlock the potential of every person to make a difference. Isn't that wonderful? And he creates environmental heroes through words, visualizations, and innovative technology. So, I now hand over to you, Karsten.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to be here today, and I wish I could be there in person, but in Glasgow, but at least as Johan alluded to, I've kept my carbon footprint low by participating virtually. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge that I'm presenting remotely from the traditional unceded territory of the Lumi and Salish peoples in the Pacific Northwest of the United States. And I'd just like to say innovation and digitalization are definitely essential parts of solving the climate crisis. Many emerging innovations and technologies are focused on removing carbon from the atmosphere or reducing emissions, but equally important is innovation that reduces uncertainty and enhances our understanding of climate change. Many of the statements made at COP26 are underpinned by climate observations. However, while climate change may be global, its impacts are felt locally, and this is where I think innovation can best spur solutions. Among the foundational challenges we face in solving the climate crisis is that there's little to no observational climate data in many places that are feeling the effects of climate change most acutely, such as natural areas or communities facing climate inequity. Often there are hundreds of kilometers between observing stations, meaning we only have an estimated understanding of climate in these places. Simultaneously, many people are faced with a longing to do something to address climate change, but see it as something that's too difficult, time-consuming, or overwhelming for them to take on, and with few avenues to influence decisions being made at executive levels. And this can lead to disengagement. For example, the WMO maintains a map of its global climate observing system. At a glance, this map appears to show relatively complete coverage. But if we zoom in on, say, Yellowstone National Park in the Western United States, an area of 9,000 square kilometers of protected wilderness, we see that there's only one weather station for that entire space. And the next nearest station is 60 kilometers away. This is despite scientists knowing that climate conditions vary substantially over short distances in places like this. And these microclimates are critical to understanding the impacts of climate change on many species. Looking at current climate data is very much like looking at a picture when you're only given a couple of pixels of color. The more pixels you add to that image, the clearer the image becomes until eventually you can see exactly what's there. And that's the level of climate information we need in order to support climate action in these places. Sadly, fixed weather stations are expensive. Few agencies are investing in new observing capacity. But fortunately, and this is where we're sort of the disruptors, thousands of people visit these places every day, and low-cost technology has evolved to empower them to automatically gather and share scientifically robust observations of temperature and humidity, two essential climate variables, while they enjoy the outdoors. I'm wearing one right now. That's our little sensor there. And this is, through IoT connectivity, such wearable tech can quickly get those observations into the hands of scientists and decision makers worldwide. These data aid in calibrating satellites and improving climate models. They help map urban heat islands, and they can pinpoint the shifting habitats of species facing threat from climate change. The data they can collect enhances and tracks climate action. And this approach represents really an innovative technology-driven solution in which anybody can participate. Our goal as a not-for-profit citizen science organization is to use our 2 Degrees Leaf system to build a global network of millions of individuals who will fill in the climate data gaps in so many places of Earth, from wildlands and at-risk communities to empty places, places where people go hiking or camping. when they're walking down the street. Imagine millions of people worldwide all contributing climate data every day. It does sound silly. We like to say that while one leaf may seem unimportant, thousands of leaves together make a forest of data. So that's what we're trying to achieve with this disruption. We're currently beta testing it in the United States and Africa. Our sensors have gone up Mount Rainier and been deployed in the African bush. We're developing a submersible sensor for snorkelers and scuba divers to collect oceanographic data. And to start growing this community of science, citizen scientists, we're launching a crowdfunding effort with our partner Crowd for Impact. More information and a link to our webpage, 2degreesc.org. You can also sign up there for our newsletter or follow our progress on social media. To conclude, I firmly believe many of the solutions to climate change will be based on technological innovations that engage the public and enhance information we have available to us to understand climate change. In my opinion, it must start with having more and better climate data at local levels in places where it matters most. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Karsten Shein. A very, very fascinating technique that you're rolling out here. Let's now turn to Stockholm, our hub in Stockholm, to see what questions we have for the speakers here.
Timon, please ask your question.
Yeah, hello. My question is a bit towards the what David Attenborough said in his speech about the tragic human tendency to sometimes lose the big picture in pursuit of short-term goals. And I heard the sentence that our problem doesn't lie in a lack of technology, but in a lack of vision. So do you see ways in which we can help people to gain vision, and how we can maybe empower those people who have vision? Because I think we need vision in order to act, right?
Well, thank you very much. I think this is a question I'd like to hand to Karsten.
Thanks. Sure. I think there is I think David Attenborough is absolutely correct. And we do need to invest in a lot of vision because the technology is there for the most part, and it is evolving at exponential rates every year. What was not possible a few years ago is now possible with technology, and we're seeing that in the sensors we're developing. At the same time, I think having pathways to where those with vision can gain the resources and collaboration to realize that vision is going to be absolutely critical. We've gone down this path ourselves and found that it's challenging when you have a good idea. How do you get it implemented? How do you develop it? When we see those resources start to develop, the incubators, the accelerators, these are the things I think that will bring a lot of these innovations to light and bring them to the forefront of what we're trying to achieve. So I'm very hopeful for that, and engaging the public throughout the process is absolutely essential.
Well, thank you very much, Karsten, and thank you very much, Stockholm.